Okay, who's injured here? Anybody involved in this other than? Okay, if you're not hurt, you need to step back. You need to step back.
All communications
Lake
on
County
Southside
10-4-11-01.
County 308, we have entrapment and partial ejection, 2 serious injuries, and appears to be 2 minor injuries, 2 vehicle accident.
Receive, will advise EMS.
Are you hurt? Let me see your face.
1141 at command.
You hurt anywhere? What happened?
41 to command. We're riding a final for injury.
Hey, I'm talking
Okay, you
about
don't want to.
41's on scene in service.
Why don't you come back here for a minute? Step back here.
you guys down to your house.
Why don't you come over here? Just
Anything else?
right here. Stop right here.
311.
Drink?
Just rest right here. You all right? You like that?
Let me see if you have any.
Fully behind 1141. Establish fire suppression. Also to the west side of the scene, we'd like to establish an EMS triage area. Copy.
Good. 1040.
611, Parkland, command.
Put him in the car.
4611, you're proceeding to the north side of the stadium. Establish landing zone for potential medevac landing, please.
He was a passenger, front seat passenger there, complaining of back and neck pain.
Next off to 1111.
Much better.
In front of 1141 for your assignment.
All right, you ready? Are you gonna take care of the head, okay? Sean, as soon as she gets to take care of the head, we'll get her up, okay? Ready? You got the head? Okay, here we go. You ready? And the towel again. wanna count?
Shut the line down.
Alrighty.
Right up here in the corner.
You guys ready? 1, 2, 3.
Next test, I want you to put one foot on the line right here, put the other foot in front. Stand heel to toe while I explain the test, okay? Put your hands down to your sides, all right? What I want you to do, I want you to take 9 heel-to-toe steps forward on this line. Every step, I want you to touch your heel to your toe. I want you to count out a number. 1, 2, 3, until you get to 9. When you get to 9, put your foot on the line. Turn around, same thing on the way back. You understand? Okay, go ahead.
just take a moment of silence. Reflect on what you saw yesterday. Thank you. You may be seated. I want to read a portion of Scripture to you this morning. Very short. First of all, I want to keep in mind that we pray for the families, Janet and Rich, Ruth, and Joyce, and all the extended family and the community friends that have come together. And I want to read Ecclesiastes Chapter 3, which I believe will be very relevant. To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up that which was planted, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to break down, and a time to build up, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to love and a time to hate, time of war, a time of peace. I want to share with you, yesterday I happened to be on the front row and was able to see something that affected me all night. I was up till about 2. I had to write a poem. My wife went home crying. My son, who is 22 and about to go to college again, filmed it and went home in tears as well. Very quiet all day. Just seemed to be very quiet, calm. I didn't get a peep out of him all day long. But I wanted to share something with you, that these two poor innocent ones were plucked from us in their summer of life. I believe there's 4 seasons in every life. There's the summer of life. It's when we're born, when we just begin to develop. It's when we begin to smell things and see things, acknowledge our behaviors, our character. We begin to define who we are. Then there's that spring of life. And spring is sort of where you are right now, where you get to get ready for your graduation, to leave home, go to college, to fulfill your dreams, your plans, the things that you've had on your mind to do. Then there's the fall of life, and that's when you get a little older, like I am, about 50, and you begin to reflect on your children and hope for them, and they cause pains in your life that you never expected. Then there's the winter of life, and that's where we finally become frail and older. Our bodies begin to fade away, parts begin to work improperly, and we finally die. The unusual thing is that these two never should have reached the winter of their life in the prime of their life. I want to share something with you. Number one, I know many of you don't know me. My name is Pastor Jimmy Rivera. I'm a pastor from City Limits Assembly of God in Allentown, Pennsylvania, which doesn't mean much. Here, hold that for me, please. But I wanted to make this real for you. So the best way to make it real is to show you. Anybody know what the guy's name is who's cuffed up there? Shout it out if you know his name. The one that was cuffed a few minutes ago. Anyone know his name? Say his name. What? Say his name. Nate. Anybody notice anything? I'm handcuffed too. And you want to know why? I'm 50 years old now. I'm a grandfather. I've been shot and I've been stabbed and I've been cut open. But I have a friend whose name is Roberto Valentin. And Robert Valentin will never, ever be the same. Now he arrived, and I'm the one that was driving. And this is a real story. And I'm cuffed to that man. It has been 29 years. And he never made it to that prom. He never made it to his graduation. But he is alive. And you might think that just because he's in a wheelchair, that he's okay. At least he lived. His mom and dad are sure happy about that. But they don't know the nightmare. Every time I speak someplace, every time I go somewhere, every time something happens in my life, where I remember Roberto Valentin. And I'm cuffed to that memory for the rest of my life. And I want to share something with you. In just an instant of time, in one moment, your lives can be changed. And there's no time greater than when you're in the midst of a celebration week, a month of celebration, a month of joy, a month of happiness. School is almost over. This is almost tagged and bagged. It's almost ready to go. And you begin to feel invincible, and you lose your ability to think properly. And one split second of a decision that was bad can cost you the rest of your life. The family hates me. They'll never like me again. When they see me, they turn away. The people who knew him can't stand me. When they see me, they never speak to me. They never say a word. All they remember is Roberto, Robert Valentin. I was drunk and on speed and on weed. Anybody notice anything when the chopper came down yesterday? All the beer cans, I don't know if it was set up that way or not, but all the beer cans, and we taped it as well, flew out from under the cars and out of the cars because there was so much wind. And I just thought, man, do these young people understand? You've got your potential, who you could become, what you should become, right ahead of you. Don't let it be taken away by one split second that's going to last you and your family and the community and even the world a lifetime. I want to share one story and ending with you. Anybody know what these are? Stethoscope. The man who invented the stethoscope did it about the 1800s. Find out if I'm right or wrong. What it was that he had a problem hearing. And he figured out, if I could just make this giant looking tuba thing and connect some hoses and put it to my ear, I could hear my wife. And he did. Successfully, it resonated, and he heard his wife. Well, in the early 1900s, someone turned that stethoscope, that hearing aid into a stethoscope. And they began to listen to lungs. Now, one man was a specialist at lungs in England. And a man had a daughter, and he took his daughter to see the specialist. He waited years till he could get an appointment, an audience with this great man who could just take this instrument and listen to a set of lungs and tell them if it was going to be good or bad news. And do you know what happened? He finally got to see the doctor, and the doctor puts the stethoscope on. And he begins to listen to the little girl's heart. His little daughter, the love of his life. And as he's listening to this little girl's heart, as he's listening to her lungs, he begins to notice there's a rasping sound in there. He knows it's a diseased set of lungs, and he just can't do anything. He tells the father, "Let me speak to you alone." And he says, "There's nothing I can do. It's too late. There is absolutely nothing I can do for your baby." And the father, after spending all this money, trying all this, flying over there just to see him, he says, "Please check again. Please check again. See if there's something that you can do." And the doctor checks again. He takes his time. This time he goes front, back. He really tries to show this father that he is doing his best. And you might wonder what this has to do with Arrive Alive. tell you in a minute. The doctor calls the father in alone. He says, there's nothing I can do. I've seen this condition before. There's too much fluid in her lungs. The sound is raspy. It's hard. She will die. She is going to die. Listen to me. The disease has gone too far. He says, doctor, don't tell me that. I waited too long. They tell me that you're the best. He said, I am the best. He said, do it again. Check it again. He said, bring your wife in here. I'm going to let you do the exam. He says, now listen to your wife. Now listen to your daughter. Now listen to me. Do you see the difference? And the father yanks them out, throws them aside, and he says, doctor, what am I supposed to be hearing? He says, a raspy sound, a fluidy sound deep inside the lungs. And the man says, are you sure? He says, yeah. He says, and you heard it? And your daughter, didn't you? He said, yeah, doc, I did. But I also heard it in you. So the very one who was the master at doing the exams, who was so used to putting it on everybody else, had never put it on himself. You know, this month, it could be you. We need to turn the stethoscope on yourself and say, am I one of those invincible people? Am I one of those people that gets a little cocky? Am I one of those people that's smoking pot? Am I one of those people that's popping pills? Am I one of those people that's drinking and not being irresponsible? Am I one of those people that gets a little drink or something in me from somewhere, from somehow, and stops thinking and then takes people with me that are innocent and gets them killed? Today, turn the stethoscope on yourself. Stop looking at everybody else. Look at you. Please just stay silent for a moment.
Yesterday, April 24th, we all witnessed a devastating car crash in which we lost two very special students, Becky Joyce and Kelly Rich. The decision that Nate made not only changed his life, but dramatically impacted the community. Although Nate did not think of his decision, the long-term effects of his decision, he will now be faced with life-altering consequences. Today, we are gathered to reflect on the accident and come to the realization that this is happening every day to people who have made the wrong decision of driving under the influence.
But now we face a startling statistic that has become a reality. Every 15 minutes, someone passes away in an alcohol-related car crash. In the past 5 years alone, the number of fatalities has greatly increased. And what you will see today is the real victims suffer through. And tomorrow, and for the rest of your life, before you get in a car, think twice. If the driver has been drinking, remember what you saw today. But most importantly, remember the emotions that you experienced. Carly and myself, along with our community, hope that if you are faced with a situation such as this, you make the right decision so that we do not have to hold a real memorial service as we are today.
Good morning. A pretty powerful message. You'll have to excuse us. It's rather difficult to be up here. I said a prayer last night, and I thanked God that this was a simulation and not a reality. But only too many situations where it is a reality, and it's only the people like yourselves, the people like all the other high schools and every place else that can make a difference in these kind of situations. Stop them, prevent them, think about what you're seeing here, and please think twice before you drink and drive. It's a privilege, it's not a right.
Yesterday, we had a chance to experience the unthinkable. What it would be like to lose our child in a senseless, tragic way. Thinking about the rest of our life without Kelly in it was the hardest thing we've ever done. There would be overwhelming sadness about what she would miss out on. Graduating from high school, going to college, marriage, and a family of her own. Not only what she would miss, but the rest of what our family would miss without her. Her smile, her sense of humor, her dedication to her friends and family. We're glad that this tragedy is not real today, but accidents like this happen every day. All it takes is one bad decision to set in motion an entire chain of events that have far-reaching consequences that will last forever. If you can take something positive from this program, please know that no one ever starts out their day thinking that something like this can happen to them. But remember, tomorrow is not promised to anyone. It's a gift, and what you do with it is up to you.
I had planned to make a few comments this morning, but listening to Pastor Rivera, I realized I shouldn't have talked about all the wonderful things Becky has meant to us, but it's all the things that she means to us in the future. Yesterday, Becky left the house. She didn't say goodbye, and I didn't know she had left. It was like any other day. And then the phone rang. I don't remember anything since. We love Becky very much. 3 years ago, the phone rang. Becky lost her cousin. He was about your age.
Last night I tried to write some notes, what I should say for Becky's memorial and Callie's memorial. And I thought about all the statistics of young people dying, driving under the influence, and I'm thinking, that's not going to get through to you. I'm a nurse. I used to work in an emergency room. I've seen this time and time again. I've made the phone call to the parents. I got the phone call. I went to the hospital. And yeah, it was a simulation. But it's the most awful feeling in the world to walk in and see your child not breathing, covered with blood, with a whole team of people who've worked on her, and they're just sorry they couldn't save her. Today, I want to adopt all of you. I want to be your mother. I want you to see what it feels like, how much pain it causes when you make a stupid decision. Not just destructive, it's just stupid. And I want to appeal to you that if you could just reach out to other people, look around. You know people who drink, who use drugs, who make destructive decisions. Be their friend. Save their life and save their families. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Eric Silkworth. I am a lucky survivor of a near-fatal accident involving alcohol. This accident has caused many hardships in my life and in my family's. I'm a little nervous up here. I had made a bad decision to drive my vehicle after I had drank some alcohol with a buddy of mine. Decided to go to try to get some food at a diner after we had already consumed alcohol. And I chose to drive my car. I'm very thankful that I did not offer to give my friend a ride to the diner that evening, because on my way to the diner, I lost control of my car. I drove into a bridge pillar. passenger side of my car was completely gone. If I had offered to give my friend a ride to the diner that evening, he wouldn't be here today. You still wake up every day after your accident thinking about it. That's one of the big things that I think about, how close I came to being the cause of one of my friend's death. Not only affecting me, it affects my whole family as well. For the 3 weeks following my accident, my family members didn't know if I was going to survive or not. The doctors were not sure as well. But luckily, I made it through. It's hard to tell somebody, it's deciding to drink alcohol and then drive their car, to just not do it. It kind of creeps up on you. You decide to go hang out with some friends, you drink some alcohol. You might not be that drunk. You don't think so. You decide to drive your car, and nothing happens. The next time you go out, drink a little bit more, you decide to drive back again. Nothing happens. It builds up a confidence that makes you think nothing is going to happen. And that's what's more dangerous. Because the more you build up that confidence, the riskier you get with it. The more you drink and then decide to drive again. And it makes it easier for you to decide to drive. In my experience, that's what I think was a big factor in me choosing to drive that evening. I had had alcohol before and driven my car, and nothing happened. I thought nothing was going to happen. But it does. Thank you.